Hello and welcome to this podcast, Flourish, with Deepthi and me, Selva. Wherever you're from and whatever you do, this is the show that will help you to not just restart confidently, but also thrive and flourish in your second careers.
If you are thinking of restarting your career but don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. In this season, we will deep dive into the world of returnees by bringing you expert interviews, research findings, and HR perspectives. Being returnees ourselves, we will be sharing our experiences of restarting, both failure and success stories.
If you're wondering how to build that killer return to work resume, or crack that dream job interview, or even get that insider's view of recruiters hiring returnees, all that and more, we've got it all covered for you in this podcast.
So, are you ready? Because it's time for you to flourish.
Tune in to Flourish, a one-of-a-kind podcast meant for all you people returning to work.
I'm Deepthi Rao, a techie by profession, mentor by passion, and a certified happiness coach.
I am Selvakani Selvaraj, certified psychologist. We both are corporate professionals with over 40 years of collective experience. We know what it takes to build, pause, and rebuild a successful career, all the while being parents, caregivers, and nurturing of our family.
Welcome to the third part of resume writing with Pragati Sharma.
So, in our previous episode, we covered many topics around how to start from scratch when writing a resume. We shared expert views from Pragati on how to prepare a compelling executive summary, how to decide which achievements to showcase, and even the best way to highlight them in the resume. We also shared tips on how to mention about your breaks in the resume in a succinct manner.
In this episode, we will continue talking to our guest about using a cover letter to your advantage and also the absolute must do tips after you finish writing that awesome resume.
Now, we are talking only about Word document, which is then converting into a PDF version, right, Pragati? That's the resume format that we've covered so far. Now, do you have any other formats for us to recommend? For instance, video resume. And that sort of opens another huge Pandora's box, so to say, vision. How professional should I look? How professional should I talk? What about the recording quality? Should I actually use certain tools or can I have plenty of these? What do you have to say about that?
So I think resumes should be as per the job, right? Now, if you are in, let's say, PR, marketing, sales, or any role which is client facing, requires excellent communication skills, presentation skills, then absolutely a video CV might be a good idea. However, a resume should have pretty much top four things: a very neat layout, your picture, focusing on your achievements relevant to the job that you're applying for. If you're covering these four things, I think you have what it takes to pretty much have a good, appealing CV. Totally up to you if you want to add graphs, charts, MBTI scores, other timelines. If they're all good and they add to the resume application, please do add to the charm.
Got it. Yeah. But for most of us, we feel intimidated to be on a video. That's how it is personally for me. How do I actually use it for job applications? And also, is there really a differentiating factor at all? Will it grab the eyes of the hiring managers? What would you say on that?
So the video CV is not a necessity. And also let's be conscious that a lot of companies might have restrictions on, firewall, etc. So unless the company is categorically asking for it, you can definitely avoid it, right? Usually what we see is that in client facing, your second round of interview or your eliminating round or your shortlisting round would be a video shot. So a lot of companies asking you for a 1 minute pitch or a video shot as a second round if they like what they see on the CV. So they will ask you to record it. So focusing on clearing that round with a relevant video recording, probably more fruitful, relevant video recording, probably more fruitful than spending time on a very general video CV.
Yeah, makes sense, Pragati. Actually, that's a great input because we all thought video was a new in thing and we must not miss it, but actually really busted to have a word resume or a pitch. And based on the ask, then you can craft your own pitch, so to say, as a 30-second video, whatever it is, when somebody, an employer is interested in looking for a video. That really clears a lot of doubts for us and hopefully for our audience as well. Now, moving on, we are saying that get your references or recommendations, and for returnees, right, it becomes important that they get back in touch with their own superiors or colleagues or even managers to get recommendations from them. We want to urge to all of listeners here that not do not hesitate, even if it's taken a little bit time for you. It's okay for you to reach back to them much later after you've quit in that company or role. It's nice that if you've kept in touch, but even if you haven't, which is okay, you can go back and say to them that, hey, I'm beginning my new journey right now. It'll be great to have a few words from you about the work that I've done. It'll go a long way in getting noticed. And I'm sure most, as many as you think, will have a good word for you and that you can use as your recommendations. The other important piece is also to keep your profile updated on several places on social media. And number one being the LinkedIn. As soon as your resume gets ready, make sure that it gets updated on your LinkedIn and other job hunting sites and relevant social media platforms. What do you say, Pragati?
No, absolutely, Selva. Um, I think it's very, very important to have a CV that is totally updated. References are always a good sign. They mention that you're confident of your achievements. In fact, we see a lot of CVs where topper here, topper there are mentioned, and I think it completely adds that you're performance driven, and these are always good to highlight. Like I earlier said, right? The CV is you. So if in real life you're expected to flaunt, do it in the CV too. Be very confident and go out there and make it happen for yourself.
Yeah, I know, don't feel pompous. You're not boasting or something, right? It's okay. You've reached out to a few folks from LinkedIn, which is very good. So that's a good fact to put it highlighted on your LinkedIn. And also it'll remind you that you have to update your LinkedIn profile. So before you reach out to them, make sure you have updated your profile and then reach back to them. And so this feedback, what you have received from managers or clients over, emails, they are very good, magical when you hear them after so many years talking about the good things that you have done. So in a way, right, it also boosts your confidence and lets you remember, okay, I did these kinds of things. So I was capable of doing all this. It makes you feel good actually when you sit back to write the resume also, that is how I would write the resume also, that is how I would view this.
We continue to talk about how important it is for you to be up there on social media platforms, particularly LinkedIn. But Pragati, what do these technical folks do? The ones who are returning to a technical job. I know that there was this GitHub where you can really post your codes and really show your passion projects there. Are there such other outreach platforms where one can really showcase their work?
There's so many, in fact. To name a few, there's Cutshot. You already mentioned GitHub. There's Upwork. You can apply for jobs on Hirist. InstaHire now has picked up on technology hiring, and most important, alumni networks. I think we tend to miss out on those, but a lot of colleges and institutions have their apps now. So if you are applying on those, there's already an innate level of trust. So yeah, lot to apply on.
Lots of places, actually, right? It feels good about it. Finally, I think I have done my resume. So much of hard work, Give me a glass of lemonade, please.
Well done.
But wait, Deepti, not yet. What about the cover letter? The cover letter.
Oh,
Yeah. So I want to ask Pragati if it's still relevant. I mean, who even reads them when they say that resume itself gets a 5 second scan time? I feel like I've already done so much of details and executive summaries and so on in the resume. What should I cover now? If I write it, should I even inform about the career break there again? So please tell us about this cover letter thing, Pragati.
So Selva, many companies ask for cover letters as part of the application process. So unless and until it is asked for, I think the executive summary will do the trick. I think the executive summary will do the trick. And usually cover letters are to understand whether you're actually going to put in the effort for the application and you're very interested in the role that you're applying for. My 2 cents, executive summary does the trick. Both are not required.
right. So now the resume is getting into some kind of a shape, and I'm able to add details into it and all. But there's next step of actually, customizing it for different roles. So I would say what we have covered till now is like the base format, right? Of course, our educational background, previous work, what we've done, certifications, everything comes in, which is the base format of the resume. The next step is to customize and tweak it based on the roles which you're applying to. And also, it might sound very trivial, but one point I actually wanted to highlight is, do make a note either in the name of your resume, you have applied to which company, and also have a few different formats of the resume ready. Isn't this right, Pragati? Am I going on the right track?
Yes, Deepti. I think a pick, a summary, and a timeline summarizing your tenure, your company, and the role is all that needs to be there. Details that are relevant should always be mentioned. And I think Selva asked this earlier on customizing and how much do I want to customize, etc. Again, let the resume speak for itself. Don't worry about keywords and whether the ATS will pick up those keywords. Just stick to what you're applying for and be true to the experience that you think is relevant.
That's fantastic, Pragati. Thank you for really putting this simply, but crystallizing this for us. Now that we've covered all things about how to really get the resume fully done, it's time to start applying. And we would strongly encourage all our listeners, whoever is considering restarting, also to look at internship programs as an option to consider, as well as the standard openings that is relevant to your skills and where you really want to shape your career. But Pragati, can one use the same resume for both returnship as well as regular openings?
Um, so Selva, if you're seeking a role that is as per your career journey prior to the break, and why am I saying that? Because we've seen a trend where women seem to have let's say, a maternity break or a career break, reprioritized, relooked, and revisited their future options. So if you're going to be continuing with, let's say, sales before the break and sales after the break, coding before the break or coding after the break, then yes, the resume can more or less stay the same. But this new trend of where we are seeing, women opting for a change in function, prioritizing family or flexibility or even benefits over a set career path. There, if you if you fall in that category, then yes, consider mentioning the same and probably adapting the CV to the open roles.
That is correct, so you can adapt it. You can say that you're open to this kind of role because of what you have already done. You might be, considering this option. Applying right, I think that is a very key aspect. Don't be in a hurry to apply at multiple places. Review the requirement, read up the company details, figure out if it matches your checklist of things, and only then apply.
Absolutely, absolutely. And also beyond the standard rules, whether it is full time or internship, It also urged that you can explore options such as part-time, freelancing, or even consulting jobs. You could look it up in Naukri, Monster kind of job portals, and then the company career page visible. And lastly, the recruiting agency like Pragati's Guide for Consulting is another great place for you to explore what kind of options that are available outside of the full-time roles. So, Pragati, tell us if there are other portals that our audience can check out, and also how does really one find out freelancing or even consulting opportunities for themselves?
But there are many portals and many search engines that will help you, and I'm happy to share some bits. So one is Google for roles, right? As soon as you Google for roles, the results will be across at least 5 or 6 different portals, right? So when you're logging in, use filters to search for part-time consulting assignments on Naukri, Monster, even Apna Jobs, or even GitHub, Upwork, and other aggregators. There's a lot of websites for freelancers. So use the term freelancer freely, and you will see freelancer.com and freelance.com and others that come up. Be very active on LinkedIn. I think your personal branding comes out very strongly if you're posting once a week or twice a week, where you're stating that you're eager for gig roles or full-time roles or contractual roles. But if you're focusing on your strength there, then you definitely will get some queries. Facebook and Twitter are definitely another source. A lot of companies post links to their open roles. Like you said, I think, right, career pages, and I do agree that sometimes they can get very frustrating. But those are the only forums where you will get a response, right? You usually will get, because of candidate experience metrics that are assigned to talent acquisition teams, the loop will be definitely closed. So prioritize the career pages for sure. And definitely consulting companies specialize, some do, some don't. Don't randomly share your CV around with no result. But definitely identify some consulting company that specialize in women coming back to work or helping you assimilate from a contractual role to a full-time role. But again, don't just share your CVs and expect results if they were not done with a clear direction.
That's a very good summary, Pragati. Some other useful tips, or rather summarizing, right, is having multiple versions of your resume and different formats. Remember to label and store them, so that they are handy. Plan on if and how you want to use your video resume. Make it a habit to keep your resume updated at regular intervals. Like, when you got a new certification, especially, right? Or a change of role or job, try to keep it updated.
Just adding to that, as a gentle practice for everyone, don't make this writing of resumes a once in a blue moon or a once in a decade activity. It becomes really hard. So review it every 6 months and add modify. LinkedIn is a great start for you to update, and then use the same info to update your resume. So as much as possible. Any other advice, Pragati?
See, a resume is your pitch deck, right? So work hard on it, think hard on it. You have to be able to bring out the best, right? There are some online tools to help you with the process. I like to share some. One of my favorites is Skill Roads. Please do check it out. There's Copy That AI, which helps you pretty much with the text. There's Enhances, there is Kickers, there's 100 plus CVs by Enhances. So check these out, and there are plenty more. In fact, even Canvas of the world and services. But yes, updation is ultra important.
Ladies, anything else to add before we relish over some lemonade, Pragati?
No, Deepthi, I think we've covered a lot of ground here. Absolutely the right time for lemonades.
Thank you.
Absolutely the right time for lemonades.
Thank you. Thank you for that permission. We're absolutely ready for that now.
But on the on a serious note, thank you so much, Pragati. Amazing insights.
Yeah, and we absolutely enjoyed talking to you. So much to learn, and all of us here.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Selva and Deepti. It's a pleasure to be part of the podcast journey. I wish both of you and the listeners lots of luck in cracking the code to return happily and be in your best forms. And of course, not to forget, thank you so much for the lemonade.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Pragati.
Pragati.
Thank you.
Your feedback is our inspiration. Be generous with your rating. We love 5-star ratings because it will help us reach many more women who are looking for that inspiration to restart. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Flourish.
We hope you liked hearing our podcast. All we do in this podcast is to have meaningful conversations, speak to experts, and bring you the real stories of returnship. So look up our show notes for our social media connects and to know more about our guest speaker.
When you can thrive and flourish in your career.
Amen to that. Bye, folks. Until the next time in our next episode.